Man, oh man, oh man. You look at this score 42-14. Fresno State beat Georgia Southern. And I am in complete shock. I think a lot of people are in complete shock the way this game went down. This game was bonkers how the way it went after the second half. I mean, after the first half. Once the third quarter came, it was a wrap. I mean, Georgia Southern got ran all the way over. It was ridiculous. I mean, I am dead serious. It's going to be a lot to talk about. I want to talk about a good bit. So if anybody's here, they want to watch, they want to come through, they want to comment, please comment. I will definitely have your comment posted if it's relevant or whatever the case may be. It is a lot to talk about. I'm going to get into this. I didn't think about going live to do this. I wasn't going to do it at first. I was just like, I'll just make a quick video and I'm just going to go to bed. It is almost 1 a.m., but I need to talk about this. I really need to talk about this. Like, no joke. This is a lot to talk about here because I think we was sold a bag of bad goods. Let me see something real quick. I'm gonna put my YouTube channel up here so people could come through. Anybody who's over here who wants to talk or whatever, because it is a lot to talk about. Let me copy this link. Hold on, I'm coming. I see the chat. Hold on. Paste that. Okay. There we go. All right, let me see. I got next sports media. I don't know what happened in the second half. I might discuss this on my podcast. Yeah, you may need to talk about this, but I'm gonna tell you what exactly happened. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you coming through. But I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened because I saw this and I realized this in the middle of the third quarter of what happened. And I didn't. And one thing I should have known this, but it just dawned on me like in the middle of the third quarter. Basically, the defensive line for Georgia Southern is the exact same defensive line from last year as far as production, probably even with the same personnel. And what happened was that we cannot stop the run. We cannot get any leverage against any offensive line, especially with Fresno. Fresno had a bigger offensive line that a lot of people didn't talk about, and a lot of people didn't talk about Georgia Southern in general. So when it comes to the defense, I don't think the defense as a whole is bad, but when you look at that defensive line, it is a complete liability. It's a complete problem, and that problem is going to render itself a super duper liability for the rest of the season. I mean, any team could run on this defense. Right, exactly. The defense was horrendous. Couldn't stop the line. And this is the thing. The secondary is not bad. We got 2 interceptions. The secondary is not bad. The offense itself is not bad. It's talented. We was able to move the ball. We had the lead going into the half. We did everything we could. The problem was Fresno State realized that they could run the ball. And after that, they really did not want to let EJ Warner throw the ball past 10 yards after that. They threw the ball past 10 yards a couple of times because they had to. It wasn't because they wanted to. So when you end up having that situation to where, hey, we're just going to do this and you need to stop us. That's basically what it was. And they couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop the run. And then that's when, like I said, in the third quarter, I was like, wait a minute. This was an issue last year. If you go back and look at the Boise State game, the Boise State game was the same way. The Boise State, Ashton Genty ran for like 240 something yards. And in this game, and I'm going to pull up the stats so you can see it, Fresno State ran for like 370 something yards. That is unheard of. That is absolutely unheard of. They ran for like 370. Oh, well, I'll take that back. They ran for 350 yards. You're not going to win games like that. That's just not going to happen. Let me see. Where is it? Not you. This one. Yeah, just look at this. Look at this. You're not going to win a game like this. It doesn't matter who you are. You're not going to win a game when this right here, 351 yards. You're not going to win a game like that. Yeah, it was the exact issue last year, and they did not address it. They addressed the linebackers, they addressed the secondary, and you could tell that they addressed those two issues because whatever you want to say, anything behind that defensive line, they played pretty well. It was no issue playing at that level. The secondary did their job. They held them to 176 yards passing. They did their job. You hold this team to half or even a third of what they ran. If you hold this down to like 120 yards, you win this game. Because they ran the ball like crazy against us. They ran the ball like crazy against 7 yards per play, almost 8 to 9 yards per rush. You're not going to win like that. That's just not going to happen. I don't care who you are or what you're trying to do. It's just not going to happen. It's really unfortunate that what Coach Clay Helton has done, Coach Clay Helton basically showed us that not much has changed with what he's done from last year. Not much has changed at all. And a lot of people on X right now, they're asking for, or they're not asking, they're pretty much demanding that Coach Clay Helton be fired. Fresno State is not that good of a team. They're not. Do they have some talent? Yeah, they got a little bit of talent. I think their running backs look really good. You got big, formidable, and you got one fast running back. You got some guys in the backfield, but that offensive line is not that good. Not that good. I just think that Georgia Southern had a worse defensive line. And I don't know, like, this is one of the things that you have to address when you knew this was an issue last year. Most touchdowns were run. Take most of them away, you got a shot to win this game. Look, listen. If you cut that down from 8 yards to carry, and I'll be generous, if you cut it down to 4 yards a carry, you can win this game. Because what that does is that flips everything that Fresno State trying to do, and that gives you a chance for your offense to get in a rhythm. And when your offense get in a rhythm, the last thing anybody wants to see is Georgia Southern getting a rhythm on offense, because that offense is way too talented to be putting up these type of numbers. 158 yards passing, 84 yards rushing, and you got 3 good running backs. Four of 11 on third down. Penalties. That's another thing. And this is the thing. You won. Look at it. You won the battle in the turnovers. You won the battles in the turnovers. You won. The defense did their job. In the first half, the defense did their job. All you had, all you had to do is stop the run for the rest of the game. Because EJ did not want to throw the ball. They did not want EJ to throw the ball after those 2 interceptions. That was right. And then they lost a fumble. When you lose a fumble, you have to make it to the point where you got to capitalize on that. I don't think we got any points off turnovers. I don't think we did. I could be wrong. I don't look. Daniel Edwards says if Fresno State didn't have 3 turnovers, this would have been worse by the second quarter. You know what? That's obvious. I'll believe that. But what really happened was in the second quarter, they realized they could run the ball. That was the end of the game right there. When they realized they could run the ball, that was a wrap. Because even if they didn't have the turnovers, and let's say EJ was throwing the ball and those passes were incompletions, EJ and the offense would have continued to try to run. They would continue to try to throw the ball. They would have continued to try to throw the ball. So they wouldn't have got all these points because they wouldn't have been running the ball as much because they believed in EJ. Then they realized they couldn't believe in EJ anymore. And they gave the ball to Donaldson. They gave it to number 31. They gave it to number 2. I can't remember the names off the top of my head. They gave it to them and realized, hey, wait a minute. They can't tackle. Why would we let EJ throw the ball anymore? And I'm surprised they let the ball go downfield a couple of times. And every time they let the ball really go downfield, it didn't go anywhere. The last few completions that EJ had were basically completions because of the fact that the defense was done. The defense was done by then. Look at the player stats. Look. EJ Warner was 20 for 27, 176, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 20 at one point, he was like 12 for 18 or something like that. You get 176 yards on 27 attempts. You're not that efficient as a quarterback. The completions look okay, but a lot of that stuff was short. Those short passes at the end of the day, because they would not let him throw past 10 yards. This game was a game Southern should have won. I expect a loss of USC, but Fresno was winnable. Now those 2 home games become a must win. Yeah, and those two home games will be a must win. I do believe that. I mean, you're going up against Jackson State and you're going up against Maine. I think we will win those games. I mean, I'm not worrying about those too much right now. But yeah, you should have won at least one of these games, these first 2 games. Giving Helton a contract extension was not a good move. I honestly now I can agree with that. I can agree with that now. You would think a defensive coordinator would load the box, consider the QB wasn't good. Exactly. You after that first, when it became 21-14, you should have been stacking the box. Make EJ beat you. And you know he couldn't beat you because he threw the ball away twice. EJ couldn't beat you because of this. The 2 interceptions, he couldn't beat you because of that. No, don't be sorry, man. It is what it is. This is an indictment on what the coaches should have. It was bad on the coaches, because if you're up at halftime, you should have made the adjustments to know, like, hey, look, we need to put this game away. And then what happened was, Fresno State made the adjustments. They realized they could run the ball, and the defensive line did nothing to do. They couldn't do anything. Now they're going up against USC, which, man, I don't even want to talk about USC right now. I just don't want to talk about USC right now, because I thought USC did to Missouri State. Missouri State. I expect to probably be a carbon copy of that. I expect to be a carbon copy of that. And to be honest with you guys, I don't think that's going to be enough to have Coach Clay Helton on the chopping block. Because what's going to happen is you're going to let me pull this up. I'm going to show this to you guys. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm going to show this to you guys. I'm going to show this to you guys. Where is it? Where is it? I got it right here. I'm going to show this to you guys. I want y'all to see this. Let me get rid of this here. Let me see this here. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to share this screen. Okay, there we go. I want to pull this. I'm going to show this to you guys. Look at this. These 2 games right here, the first 2, they're going to be losses. But with this team, I still believe, and I know this is a far-fetched, I still believe that he's going to walk by October 9th. By October 9th, he's probably going to be 4-2. If anything, 3-3. I don't see us losing the home games. And then you look at the rest of the schedule. People can say what they want. I don't want to get far ahead of myself. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But when you look at this schedule, he's probably going to still win 6 to 8 games. How did the F we lose? The running game. I'm gonna show you again. I don't know if you just came here, but I'm gonna show it to you. This is how we lost right here. Let me get the team stats. This right here. 351 yards rushing. They could not stop the run. Could not stop the run. I think out of the 42 points, I think, 5 of them were rushing touchdowns? Maybe all of them was rushing touchdowns? You would think that the offensive coordinator would load the box. Yeah, I just said that. This is a new head coach. Largely new group for Fresno State. They're figuring things out before the conference play. E.J. Warner won't finish the season as QB1. I can believe that. I don't think that E.J. Warner is that good. You saw it in Kansas. You saw it in this game. When they played Kansas, he played terrible. When he played against us, he played terrible. This is E.J. Warner's stat line. He threw 2 interceptions in the first half. They realized that we don't need to throw the ball anymore. They gave it to the running backs. Our defensive lines could not stop or get any push. And then this is where you get this. 167, 96, 33, 28. These guys are averaging, almost 10 yards a carry. Almost 10 yards a carry. You're not gonna beat anybody like that. So when you come around and you start looking at these other teams, which I still think that Georgia Southern could win, after USC, that I think they could still beat Jackson State. I still think they could beat Maine. I'm not going that far on the deep end just yet. But when you look at this right here, every team has a shot. Every team has a shot to beat you because your defensive line gotta stop the run. If you can't stop the run, you're not gonna beat anybody. And you're going to barely hold, you're going to be in a bunch of shootouts. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay. But yeah, this is the thing. I'm serious. No, we don't run the triple option anymore. And you know what? Some people are actually asking to bring the triple option back. Like, no lie. Like, some people are actually asking for it. Like, I saw that and I was like, what? But yeah, some people are asking for the triple option to come back. I think they had one punt. I want to say they had one punt. I think they had one. Yeah, they punted once. Yeah. Run defense need a lot of work. Yo, if the run defense if they actually could stop somebody, and I'm not even gonna say stop them, if they can cut down off of what we just saw tonight by half, you can win a lot of games. Because you're not gonna have a defense that basically shuts down run games. You're not gonna do that. I mean, you're gonna have a defense that's formidable, but you're not going to have a defense that shuts down anybody's run game. That's not happening. If you can lower it down to maybe 4 to 3 yards a carry, and that's, in college you can get away with that. In the NFL you can't. You cut it down to 3 or 4 yards a carry, you got a chance. I mean, unless if you got a dominating defense or you're playing a lot of teams like, let's say for instance, what Georgia did today when Georgia played against Marshall. If you're going to play against a bunch of teams like that, yeah, you're going to have a team that's going to stop the run. But you got to at least cut that, whatever this was, you got to cut this in half. You got to cut this in half. That's the only way. I mean, if you cut this in half, basically, let me see if they got it on here. I don't know if they have it on here. Let me see. Hey, look at the scoring summary. If you cut this in half, one touchdown run right here by Rashawn Luke. Bryson Donaldson, 8-yard touchdown run. Another touchdown run. That's 3. No, is that 3 or 4? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Ramirez, touchdown run. 4. Another touchdown run. 5. You had 5 touchdown runs in this game. You had 5 touchdown runs. You cut this in half, cut it down to maybe 2 touchdown runs. That's what? That's 21 points off the board. And on flip side, you give Georgia Southern more of an opportunity to score because these numbers aren't here. So you don't have to stop the run completely. You just have to slow it down. That's with anybody. Like this right here. This right here, 351. This has to be down to about 120, 130. You get this down to 120, 130, you got a ball game. But you can't stop the run, then this is what's going to happen. I'll go set up my podcast to discuss this game tomorrow. This game should have never been this bad. It's amazing Southern defensive coordinator has a job after many years of poor defense. I kind of agree with you. And you want to know what else? Want to know what else? And I know some people have been talking about this last year, but you may really want to start talking about what the future of Coach Clay Helton is going to be. I ain't saying get rid of him or fire him, but it's really time to start talking about that. You look at what happened last year. We made some magic happen. We won 8 games. But when you see stuff like this, and after what you saw in the RL Carriers Bowl last year against Sam Houston, and you turn around and you wet the bed to the point where you can't even you can't stop the running game. It looks just like last year. You got the same results. You probably need to start having that conversation, a serious conversation about that. Because this right here shouldn't happen. It should not have happened at all. Quite frankly, it's pretty ridiculous. Just looking at some stuff right here. I'm going to pull this up. I want y'all to see this real quick. Y'all to read this. Last year, Georgia Southern gave up 371 yards to Ashton Jenney and Boise State in the opener. Tonight, the Eagles gave up 351 yards on the ground of Fresno State. The Bulldogs don't have a Heisman Trophy running back. Georgia Southern front seven has a lot of work on before USC. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Their run defense may start to look better once you get out of these first 2 games. But right now, that's not going to happen. I will be extremely surprised if they hold USC to under 250 yards rushing. I would absolutely be surprised if they hold them under 250. But Benga had only 1 carry at the end of the half is ridiculous. I think he should have got more touches. I really do. And to be honest, the first half that was not bad at all. The first half, we were up, and you started to see a little bit of a bend. But at that point, you should have started trying to get this game under control to the point where they wouldn't even think about running the ball. If you would have scored after you had that fumble, they wouldn't have been thinking about running the ball. But they learned. I'm working on a new offensive system right now that's option-based supercharged in the modern era. It will destroy college pro defenses. After I send it off to a few P5s, I plan to send it to Georgia Southern. Okay, I see you. We have no chance. We have no chance against USC. Hey, listen. I can't disagree. I cannot disagree. I cannot disagree. But yeah, I just feel like this could have been something that was done a little bit better. They could have done a little bit better with this. It's pretty ridiculous. I don't understand. And when you start looking at what's going forward, you just gonna have to understand you're going to have another situation to where we're going to be looking at this again next week. This is going to happen again next week against USC. I don't see anything different from what we see. It may be even worse because, like, I don't see anything on Fresno State to say, like, hey, that team is good. I clearly believe that this was bad Georgia Southern. This was not, absolutely was not good Fresno State. This was bad Georgia Southern all the way around. And I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to have to do something to fix what you got right here. You're going to have to do something. Because once you get into the Sun Belt Conference and you still got this same problem, you're going to get into a situation where all these hopes and aspirations to get to the Sun Belt title game and do this and that third, that's going to be out the window. You're not going to be able to win games when you're giving up that type of play. Now, I will say this as well. We did give up a lot of yards to Ashton Genty. We did. But the flip side of that, we still end up winning 8 games last season. Even after game 1 when we gave up all those tons of yards. We did end up winning 8 games. So I don't know how successful we can be, but I don't think this is a situation where we don't have a winning season. But all the other stuff, it is highly in question right now. Like, I don't see us being that dominant team in the Sun Belt like I thought we will be. Because when you look at it on paper and based on what we saw and everything that we bought in, we should be one of the top, if not the top team in the Sun Belt East. And that still could be the case. But when you look at this run defense, if Fresno could run on you like this, damn near anybody in the Sun Belt could run on you like this. And if that's the case, you can forget it. And if that's really the case, you're probably looking at maybe 4, maybe 5 wins this season. And the games that you win is the Jacksonville State game. You'll win against not Fresno, but you'll win against Maine. And the rest of the games are a bunch of toss-ups. Maybe you'll even beat Georgia State. So that's 3 wins that you're probably going to get. The rest of them, we have no idea right now. We have absolutely no idea. You're going to Boone to play App State. You're probably looking at the schedule. You may win all your home games. That gives you 6 wins, and that ain't cutting it. But that run defense has to get better. If the run defense gets better, you got something going for yourself. USC is going to stomp y'all. I hate to say that that's what I'm saying. They put up 70. And they're going to be at home. And if we come out with the same type of play like this, you got to understand, Fresno put up 42 on us. And USC is a much better team. Yeah, look, I can't go against what Has 404 saying. I can't go against that. This is terrible. It's a wrap. We may not win 5 games this year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just said that. If you look at the schedule, this is what we're probably dealing with. You may win your home games. Fresno, I'm telling you, Fresno is not a good team. This was bad. This was bad Georgia Southern all the way around. That defensive line is horrendous, and it showed. You know, I'm about to see something. I'm glad you said. I want to see something. Let me see something. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. I want to look at this. I'm glad you said that. I want to look at this. Hold on. One second. Let's look at this. You see that? 73-13. You see that? Look at the run. Look at the run. Look at the run game. They only ran for 233. You say Missouri State is worse than Georgia Southern, probably overall. But even though they're worse overall, they gave up only 233 yards. Only 233 yards. You think Georgia Southern's going to do the same thing? And even if they do, you think they're going to... I will say this. I don't think that USC is going to pass for this much. I do have faith in our secondary. I will say that. I do have faith in our secondary that we should be okay. And if we do give up this much yards, all bets are off. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt to say they don't give up this many yards passing. But that's what I'm saying. Only 233. Only 233. We just gave up 351 to a team that don't have the running back caliber of SC. Defense has stepped in a big way. Offense was not the problem. I agree. I know some people on X right now, they're disagreeing with me saying that there's something wrong with the offense. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the offense. I really don't. I think the offense is okay. I do believe that the run offense is fine. Or not the run offense, but I think the offense itself is fine. The defense is a liability. We are stuck with Helton. The AD look ridiculous for extending the guy's contract. He never wins bowl games. He blows the East lead every year. Why was he rewarded? I'm gonna tell you why he was rewarded. You win 8 games. You are 1 game away from the Sun Belt East. If you get rid of him, it's very hard to bring a coach in to bring that's going to give you 8 wins immediately. And on top of that, it's going to be hard to hire a coach that's going behind somebody who won 8 games. And people don't want to believe that, but nobody's going to want to come here if you fired a coach that won 8 games, because that coach is going to come in and be like, well, damn, if you fired him for winning 8 games, I don't have a chance because I got to rebuild everything that I got to do from the ground up, because you're going to have players transfer. You're going to have to bring your philosophy in, and some of these players may not fit that philosophy. So if you try to run a situation where you got an 8-win coach getting fired and you bring somebody else in, they're going to be up against the wall. Because they're already on a hot seat when they come in. They're going to have to win 8 games just to justify them being there. And if us as fans, we're not going to give that new coach that type of leeway, because we're like, damn, did we just went away from an 8-game, an 8-win season with this coach, and this coach has come in and we're going to deal with another 3 years of possibly winning 6 games. It's tough to actually try to justify that. Most State became an equivalent, FCS equivalent of the SEC. It's going to take them a few years to get 8 wins. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if we have ever allowed that many rushing yards in the game. If we have, it's been a while. Yeah, I don't think we gave up that many yards against Ashton Genty. I don't when Boise State came in, I don't think we gave up that many yards then. I think we probably did. I think it was like 370. But yeah, it's crazy. Secondary is fine. Yeah, we got 2. We had 2 turnovers in the secondary. Secondary is fine. Run defense, that front seven, suspect. It's not even suspect anymore. They're just, it's bad. They're bad. USC is about to have a field day on Helton and probably say this is why we got rid of Helton in a few weeks. You know what? I didn't even think about that. I'm glad you said that. You know what? You are absolutely right. USC, I can see it right now. The people in the athletic department saying, yo, this mofo is coming back into our neck of the woods. Don't you put your foot on his neck and show him and everybody why we got rid of him. I absolutely believe that. I didn't even think about that. You're probably absolutely right that that's the they're probably going to find a way to drop 90 on us. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying they're going to try their best to do the same thing they did to Missouri State. The same thing. You're right, but his contract denied. I agree. I didn't say extend him, but I'm just telling you why he was not let go. Well, you asked why he was rewarded. Yeah, I can agree. He didn't have to be extended. I think they should have just let him run that last year of the contract and see what happens. Southern should have waited and let us run. I just said that. Southern should have waited and let his contract run its course just to serve to see if Helton improve and finally win a bowl game. I just said that. You're right. Absolutely. He produced the same mediocre win total while he was yeah, he did. He did. I cannot dispute that. He did the same thing at USC. But, you know, I thought this was going to be, and it still could, but I thought it was going to work out for Clay Helton because you move into the group of 6. You moving down a little bit. You have a little bit more leeway to do some things. You know, and I think that's why he was able to produce some type of, you know, a few big wins for us. But then again, you got to close the deal, bro. You got to close the deal. Because if you don't close the deal like you give us this in the regular season, and then we're down here at the end of the season, that's mediocrity. You got to close the deal at least on 1 or 2 of these seasons. We gave up 371, yeah, and 2. Now the 280 yards passing. Look, you got to understand, college and in the NFL, you're going to give up yards in the passing game. That's just a given. Unless if you got like this shutdown secondary and you playing a terrible quarterback, you're going to give up at least 250, 210. Every now and then you'll give up like 170 or whatever. It is what it is. But the 371 rushing, this is what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You can't do that. And you can't do that. It's no way. It's no way you can give up that many yards. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a Power 5 team or Power 4 team that's in the top 10. You never could give up 371 yards rushing. This should have been a year for us, but we are yet again with a full retreating defense with a D-line that's reliable as a screen door on the submarine. That's funny. But yeah, it should have been. Can it still be? I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but honestly, it still could be. To be honest, we can lose the next game and it's still possible that we can run the table. I don't see it, but it's very possible because we got to understand the Sun Belt isn't as high on itself as we think it is. Louisiana just lost their game. You saw what Ole Miss did to Georgia State. You saw what happened with what's the other team that played against Mississippi State? Southern Miss. You saw what happened with Southern Miss. I think JMU won their game though. Yeah, JMU just beat Weber State. I mean, they beat Weber State. So I can't say anything about that. You can't hang your hat on that. They beat Weber State. So James Madison plays Louisville and Liberty next. That's when I would know what type of team James Madison really is. They play Louisville and Liberty next. So you would know what type of team you got at that point. So when you look at the Sun Belt, I mean, we're looking at something where it's still a toss-up in the Sun Belt. You can lose to USC, and you could possibly still run the table. Do I see it happening right now? Absolutely not. I don't see it happening. But when you look at the schedule, once you get past at USC, you look at the rest of these games. Outside of JMU, I don't see anybody else that really a threat. And that's being honest. If the run defense tighten up a little bit more than what they did today against the rest of the Sun Belt, you could, and this is a big stretch, you could win every single game after the SC game. That puts you at 10-2. Now, what I feel like, honestly, I feel like we're going to win every home game. I don't know about us. Maybe we'll end up beating Marshall, because Marshall don't look that good either. So we'll probably win every home game except for Marshall. That gives us a 7-5 record. Yep. Sure did. We extended them. This will be Helton's first game at the Coliseum after getting fired. The Bulls are going to rain down on him. I said this earlier. On top of that, they're probably going to try to put their foot on his neck. So if I was him, I would try my best to play keep away from this USC team. I'll never forget dropping 300 rushing yards at Alabama in 2011. Alabama gave up more yards in that game than the whole year combined. Georgia Southern was their 11th game of that year. Man, 2011, man, that was a really good team. I think we ended up going, 9-2? It's crazy. What do we do if we're sitting at 4-8 at worst at the end of the season? Where do we go from there? Where do we should go? We should get rid of Clay Helton but what do? He gets one more year. He will be back next year. He'll get another year. You'll probably he gets one more year. That's what I think that will happen, but I think he should get let go. But he'll get one more year if he goes 4-8. I do believe that, seriously. Because he just got the extension, last year or this year? I'm just baffled that Southern extended Helton so prematurely. Makes me question the AD logic of thinking. Yeah, I agree. I think it was too early. Yeah, that was the same year. You're right. I think it was. It was the same year. Same year. But I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, I don't think we're looking at anything here that's I hate to say it like this because I know their emotions are high right now, but the sky isn't falling yet. To be honest, the sky isn't falling yet because of what you got in front of you. Once we are 0-2, Jacksonville, it can't be a close game. I agree. Have a great night, folks. Yeah, it's 1:26, man. It is late. I need to be out of here myself. I'm gonna probably talk for another 10 minutes. But I appreciate you, Eagle 19. Bring on the NFL season. If you're a Falcons fan like me, boy, oh boy, man, I don't know, man. The Falcons do look good, but it's the Falcons. Oh, boy. But yeah, if this is a close game, if the Jackson State game is a close game, we got problems. We need to turn around and beat Jackson State by like 35 or 40 points. If it's anything less than 30 points, is a problem. Buccaneers, yes, that's right. You are a Buccaneers fan. I forgot about that. Forgot you're a Buccaneers. Yep. So yeah, we'll be talking. Game 1, week 1, we'll be talking. Because we play all week 1. Y'all got some problems with your offensive line. Hell, we got problems on our offensive line. Both got injuries. Crazy, right? Jacksonville held their own against UCF last night, 17-10. I'm not worried about Jackson State too much. They're coming to Paulson. So I think we got a really good shot. Realistically, who replaced Helton if he gets fired? Ooh, I'm glad you asked that. I'm about to put this up right now. Because this is somebody who's been on my radar. This is somebody who's been on my radar for a while now, and I doubt it we'll get this person. Yeah, Jacksonville State. I'm sorry. I did say that. Sorry. This person's been on my radar for a while now. And even though I think they just lost their game, but I think this guy should be the next coach, and I doubted this will happen. If we replace, this is the person who I've been wanting to be our coach. If Coach Clay Helton gets replaced, this is the person who I want, the offensive coordinator for Clemson. I want him. I think this guy will be great for what we do. That's just my opinion. Y'all can say otherwise, but that's just my opinion. I think this guy would be good for Georgia Southern if you bring him in. I know this is like a really big stretch, but yeah, I think I would want this guy. Offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator for TCU, leading them to a national championship in 2022. Won the Bros Award for most outstanding coordinator in 2022. Coaching style described as dynamic, explosive for creative and confident approach. He is the highest paid assistant on the Clemson football staff. I doubt if we'll get him. You bring this guy in and let him bring a defensive guy that can coach some defense. We're good. But this is the person that I've been looking at last year when I thought we was going to get rid of him. But that's my pick. I know some people probably out there, their own picks like Hedge 404 say we need to clone Irk Russell and bring him back to life. We need something, man. We need something. But this would be my pick if we was to get Lurch. If we replace him, this is the person I would want. Because I think he will bring everything we need to have a tough, because he came from Clemson, so he been at TCU. You saw what he did at TCU. So they went to the national championship game with the TCU team. So you bring him in. You're good. Let him pick a good defensive coordinator to run your defense with his type of offensive mind. You're good. Yeah, he was App State coach in 2019. Yeah, you're right. He was. So he does have ties. That's another reason. This is another reason why I wanted him, because he has ties to the Sun Belt. He knows what the Sun Belt is built on. We're not going to get this guy. If we wanted Garrett Riley, we're not going to get him. Because when you pull this up, I looked at something, and when I looked at this, we're not going to get him. Show you why. Unless if they really ante up. You see that? Do you see this? Coach Clay Helton is making $750,000. Riley's salary is $1.75. We're not getting him. As bad as I want Garrett Riley, I want him. We're not getting him. And I think Garrett Riley will be perfect for Georgia Southern if we get rid of Coach Clay Helton. He has ties to the Sun Belt. He took TCU to a national title as an offensive coordinator. You see what he does with quarterbacks. It will be perfect. Let him pick a defensive-minded coach to run his defense. We'll be the best team. We'll be the best team in the Sun Belt easily. But after looking at this, it ain't happening. Yikes is right. You ain't getting them. I expect Helton to be fired eventually. He won't make it to 2027 as Southern coach. You might be right. Unfortunately, you might be right. You might be right. You probably about 70% right. The only way that does not happen, he runs the table this year after losing the SC. You go 10-2, you beat everybody else after you lose the USC game. And I mean beat everybody else. You win your bowl game, you win the Sun Belt title and everything. You may be good. You beat everybody after losing the SC. You're probably good. If Auburn and Georgia Southern fire the coach and saying for the love of God, do not hire Hugh Freeze. No, I don't think they should hire him. Honestly, I'm dead serious when I say this. If you get rid of Helton, you need to go after Riley. You might need to put up some big money to get Riley. You go get Garrett Riley from Clemson. Pay him $2 million. Pay him $2 million. If you really want to win, you go get Garrett Riley. Because I don't see anybody else that you get if you get rid of Clay Helton. I don't see anybody else. But what I do see is, I hate to say this, I'll say it again. We still have a chance. Even with this terrible loss, you see what happened. I still think we have a chance. And it sucks, but I think we still have a chance. But I don't have anything else to add. Anybody else got a question? Because I'm going to be on here about another 5 minutes. I'm going to get up out of here. It's 1:35 in the morning. We usually don't be up this late talking Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern usually play at 6:30 in the afternoon, and we be done by 10. See, I got anything else y'all want to say? Please let me know. If not, I'm going to slide out of here. Give him $2 million and put in a contract. I'm dead serious. Like, if you get, I've been looking at this guy for at least 2 years because I had my reserves about Clay Helton when we lost against Ohio. When we lost against, no, not Ohio. Was it Ohio? Yeah, I think it was Ohio when we lost to we lost against Ohio. I was looking at somebody and I was looking at him. I was looking at Riley for like 2 years now. And I thought that this guy would be perfect. But you're gonna have to give him some money though. And you're gonna have to ante up. You can still win the Sun. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can still win the Sun Belt. That's why I say, this is why I say that it's still not over. It's not. Like I said, you can still go lose against SC and still win the Sun Belt. And then Coach Clay Helton is still going to be around. You said Fritz resigned. You mean Willie Fritz? I don't know. Something happened with Willie Fritz? Oh, you're talking about with us? Did he? I think he resigned. I don't think he got fired. I'm looking at his. I'm looking at his career right now. Let me look. Lane. Fritz led the Eagles to 8-4 record and won the GoDaddy Bowl. And it doesn't say. I don't think. I think he just went on. He just went on to go to Tulane after that. But it was crazy that they got rid of him, though. That was crazy. Yeah, Monken in 2014. Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible. It just seems like P4 coordinators performing at a high level aren't looking at or considering G5. No, they're not. Because what they're doing is this is their way to get in the door to be a coach at the G5 level, at the Power 4 level. That's what they're doing. Unfortunately, it's just like a pipeline like in the NFL. If you're a good coordinator, you're going to get a head coaching job in the NFL. Same way with college. If you're a good coordinator in college at the Power 4 level, you're still going to try to get a head coaching job at the Power 4 level. People that come down to the G5 or G6 are your Clay Heltons or are your other guys that come down from here when they don't really make it. Another thing that you could do is this right here. Is there a coach at the FC level that GS could hire? Honestly, there probably are, but I don't know. I didn't look into it. I just had my eyes looking on to Garrett Riley. I was just zeroed in on him because I thought that, if you want to get your foot in the door, this is the way to go. But then again, they look at the other way around, like you said about they're going to look up instead of go down. Still mad at New Orleans. This what made me mad. This is what made me mad. What made me mad was that first play when they ran that obvious screenplay and it was a pick six. Once that happened, you put yourself behind the 8 ball and that was a wrap. It's all about, setting the tempo. And you can't set the tempo, you give them the momentum and that's a wrap. Same thing with this game tonight. They did set the tempo, but they let them take it right back from him. Fritz wasn't money. It wasn't money. So they didn't want to pay him, so he left for Tulane. Yeah, that's what I said. I didn't think he got fired. That's what I said. I didn't think he got fired. At that point, I didn't think so. Yeah, and Monken left for his dream job at Army. Monken did a pretty good job at Army. He really did. I think they lost today though. Which is another game that we should have won. We should have won that Army game when we went up there to play them in the COVID year. Wow, they lost to Tarleton State. Dang. Dang. Oh. That's rough, man. That right there in double overtime, that's rough. I didn't. Yeah, that's rough, bro. Yeah, that's tough. And Tarleton State came from Texas. Man. Two interceptions. Right, exactly. Exactly. Well, they FCS now, right? They're as regular FCS now, right? I want to say, yeah. Trying to. Well, it won't pull up. Let me see. Yeah, they're in the FCS now. In 2019, they was in the yeah. They moved to the FCS in oh no. In 2020, 2021, they came to FCS. Man, that's a tough loss. That's rough. But yeah, I done been on here for an hour, man. I done said what I had to say. I appreciate everybody who came through. Look, man, we got 240 people here, man. Got 200 people on X watching. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I need to come over to YouTube, bro. Come over to YouTube. This is where you get all the good stuff at. Come over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump up on out of here. Everybody who said something, Cordero, Hads, I got next, Daniel, Lurch. Appreciate you, Lurch. You've been around for a while. Eagle 19, and everybody else that I missed. I appreciate y'all, man. I really do. Zook. But yeah, it is almost 2 a.m. I gotta go to bed. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go live more often, man. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all be blessed, and I'm out. All right, y'all. Peace. Yeah, good night. Good night.